Okay, we're up to Daf Kuf Samech Gimel Amid Aleph. We're beginning in Kuf Samech Beis. The bottom line, the Gemara said that if you have two lines between the space of the Eidim and the star itself, then it's puzzle because you're going to go ahead, write something on the upper line, go ahead and give a review on the star on the lower line. We don't learn from the last shita, the last shita, the last row, and maybe it's puzzle. Iboilahu. Shnei shitim shamu. These two shitim. What's the width? What's the area? Hein va'aviron. Adim hein v'lo aviron. Is it them plus the space in between, or them without the space in between? The Amar of Nachman by Yitzchak Mistab. It makes sense to say the hein va'aviron, that it's them and the avir. The Yisal kedaita hein v'lo aviron. If you're going to tell me that it's them and not their avir, meaning it's a smaller line, it's a smaller space because you're missing the airspace in between, right? But lo avira l'may chasya, without avir, what possibly could there be there? Pirish. The ksav of a person is not as exact as the ksav of a sefer. The sefer is much more proficient. That's his living. That's what he does, and he's gonna. So if you have a space that is so thin, you'll recognize the fact that this person's writing is not the same as the above person. After all, he's going to have to fetch in on a much shorter line. He's going to have to fetch in these letters. Or if he writes larger, so you'll discern the difference between the shtar and these lines. So therefore, that would announce that it's a forgery. Memela, that wouldn't be asar. It wouldn't be asar because there's not going to be chayish for it. So it must mean two lines with the space in between, because then you can be chayish for the forgery. Shema mina l'chayr it's a good raya. Rav Shatza yom mishmei dechizkiya shnei shitim shamnu k'sav yidei eidim. It's speaking about the size of eidim, like k'sav yidei sefer. Eidim have to write larger, sefer writes smaller, and therefore, if the width of the k'sav yidei sefer, it's a good shtar. Because there's no way a regular guy will be able to fit in that small space, as we mentioned above, the same reason, it won't be able to fit in that ksav. My timer. So in order to fit in that ksav, you'd have to go to the sefer, because only he is proficient. The cholam mizayef, lav l'gabe, anyone who's mizayef, lav l'gabe snap for us, you go to the sefer and say, add this. They're not adding that, right? They're not going to be liars. The comma. What is the length of these lines? So kama until what zman? So we have machloekes. Amar Yitzchak Pelos. Okay, going l'cha ze al gabi ze. L'cha ze al gabi ze. Alma. What do we see? Kasava shnei shitim v'arba aviros. So let's see what this means. So you have over here something that shouldn't be there. You have over here the lech lecha, right? It says you're going to write on lecha. So here you have a space between the line above and this lamed that it should hit. Here below, you have to take into account maybe the bottom of the end of chaf will hit the lamed. So you need a space for the bottom of the end of chaf and a space for the top of the lamed, 2 spaces. And the bottom lecha, you get a space over here. So it's 2 words and 4 spaces. 1 for the lamed, 2 for the chaf, lamed when it stims like this when it comes together, and here 4. That's the distance. That's Rabbi Yitzchak in the Rav Elazar. Rabbi Chaya bar Ami mishmei deula amar going lamed milmayla, the chaf milmata. All you have to worry about is the lamed above and the chaf below. And just make sure when you write, you're not going to make sure that the end of chaf is going to match up with the lamed. So according to him, it's 1 airspace, 2 airspace, 3 airspace, right? Al muksava shtei shitim, 2 lines of shleisha avirin and 3 airspaces. Going Baruch ben Levi b'shita achas, says the Rashbam, first wide line. Shnei avirim ika hacha echa l'mayla b'shvil lamed the Levi. You're only going to have 1 line. And you have 2 airspaces, 1 the lamed above and 1 the chaf below. So you're going to have the words of Baruch ben Levi. You have 1 for the lamed of Levi and 1 for the chaf, the end of chaf of Baruch. Kasova shita achas shnei avirin. Therefore, it would be one line, and two avirim. Okay, I didn't write that out. Amar Rav, Lo shanu. We did not learn, says Rav. We did not learn that two lines puzzle only if the distance is between the shtar and the edim. Again, if the distance is between the shtar, if the distance is between the shtar and the edim, with chayish, you're going to go ahead and enter something over here. You'll have edim written on top of here. But let's get a different page. Something different. Let's say this. Let's say you have a shtar, edim, right? Then you have a space after the edim, and then you have the henpek. You have the kiyum shtor of bezdin. So you have over here you have a space. Over here you have the shtar. Over here is the edim. So in between here, my chin, and here, you can't two lines possible. One line's okay, because you're not going to learn from that line. What about if you have a distance from here to here? Look at this nice distance. Would that be okay? After all, the edim are signed here, and this is not the edim. So it says Rav. Amar Rav says Rav Loishanu, that's possible only from here to here. Then the two lines will passel. However, between the edim and the ashrata, the edim that's signed over here, and the ashrata and the kiyum over here, afilu tuvnami, even a great deal will be kosher. Maishna, ben edim l'ksav dilma mizayif, because of my deboy, b'chasimi sadeh, ben edim l'ashrata nami mizayif, because of my deboy, b'chasimi sadeh. Let's chash like this. The reason you can't write something over here is because it's a forgery. You'll forge something in, you'll have edus on this. If I put something over here, so good, the edim are over here. This is one of Rishonim. Over here, since there's a handpick down here, people seeing it will say, obviously, it must be that if they were Makayim the Shtar, they must know that these edim testified on what's written over here. So Fred the Gemara Kasha, why does Rav say over here it would be okay? After all, why are we suspicious? Perhaps after the edim signed here, they'll forge something over here. You'll have a henpick on here on the whole shtar, and people will say, "Oh, so therefore the henpick's going on everything, including this clause that's over here." So why are we worried about that? Rav says you're not worried about that. So says the Gemara. Let's see the words inside. So Maishna bein Eden l'kasav dilma mizayef. You can go ahead and forge because of my deboy v'chasimi sadeh bein Eden l'ashrata, between the edim and the henpick. Nami mizayef because of my deboy v'chasimi yadeh. So and again, and even though the edim are above, the people will think since there's a henpick below, kind of Bezdin was masking that everything's on the up and up. Says the Gemara dimitayet. This area is inked in. In other words, we have an inked in area. So I could leave an inked in area, it's an inked in area. So we're not worried about writing something. Right? So if you, why do over here, if you left two as a puzzle, just like over here, if you ink in, it's okay. Over here, ink in over here, and it should be okay. And for the Gemara, you'll say the Eidim are testifying not on the shtar, they're testifying on the ink, that there wasn't a clause that was there that he covered up. Maybe if it's inked over, maybe there was a clause there in the shtar Tanai or something, and he inked it over, Kamash Malan, and therefore the Eidim would be signing on that, and therefore the Eidim are not signing the regular document, for it's not acceptable. Mashenke, when you saw it with the henpick, the Gemara's going to ask, so maybe they're being the inked area to say it's on the up and up, there's nothing missing. The Gemara is going to answer, Bezdin does not go ahead and do that. So says the Gemara, if it's speaking that the area between the Eidim and the Ashrata and the henpick is inked in, and therefore it's okay, why don't we say the area between the Shtar and the Eidim, the two lines inked in, should be okay? Because the Eidim that are going on after the Shtar will say they're going ahead and testifying in the Diyuta, that was nothing underneath there that was covered up. Therefore, why don't we say the inked in area also, Amri, Beidina Atiyutahu the Chasimi, that Bezdin is being Mekayim, not the Eidim, but that area. Says Beidina Atiyutahu Chasimi. The Bezdin does not go ahead, Rod, and testify on an inked in area. That's not their style. You have an area that's inked in, right? So now let's say we'll go ahead. You'll cut off the shtar, V'kosaba ma'ide boy umachtem sadeh v'ama. Okay, v'ama Rav haba hu ve'edav al machak kosher. Okay, what do we have over here? We have a star, we have Adim, we have an area that is what? That is inked in, and we have a henpeck. Cut off the whole thing over here. Cut off the whole thing over here. What do you have over here? Ink. Erase all this ink. Erase all the ink. Get Adim signed over here. You'll have a henpeck over here. You'll have a wonderful star. And even when you're going to tie into that, you can't write it on a area that is machak. You could. Rav says over here. Rav says you could. The Rav star haba hu ve'edav al machak. A star that's coming that the edim on the star and the star itself that's machak is kasha. So Fred Gemara kasha. How can you Rav say? It seems to be a steer in Rav. How can you Rav say that the area over here is okay as long as the edim are over here and the henpeck's down here and it's inked in? It's okay. I have another suspicion for valid forgery. I can create a document, not only a forgery, but Bezdin went ahead and agreed to it, right? How would I do that? Cut off the real star, that's over here. Cut off the real Adim, that's over here. You have over here an inked-in area. Take that inked-in area, be machak the whole thing. Write whatever you want, sign Adim to that, and now you have the henpick. You didn't erase the henpick. The henpick will be going on that. So why aren't we worried about that? So how can Rav say that area is okay and nothing to worry about? Rav himself said you have something to worry about. If you have a star that's mochak and edim that are also mochak, it's okay, right? We'll discuss this more in tomorrow's share. Now, honichel Rav Kahana the Masin Lamishmei de Shmuel, very good according to Rav Kahana who learned that last clause that a star that is mochak and edim signed is kosher. If that's Shmuel, Rav would hold it's no good. So very good. So if Rav holds that's no good, we're not concerned that the inked-in area will be erased and the edim will sign on it because he holds if they do, it's no good. So therefore, there's nothing to worry about. And therefore, he says the area between the edim and the henpick is good as long as it's inked in. That's if you hold it Shmuel who said it. However, El Rav Daf Yomi the Masni Lamishmei the Rav. But according to Rav Daf Yomi, who in fact learned in Rav that he said the mochak, the ek, the star, and the edim is kasha, then Michael and Ema, you have a problem. How could Rav himself say that the area between the edim and the ashrata, if it's inked in, is okay? Why are we concerned? Again, you're going to go ahead and erase that whole area, write a whole new star, have edim signed on all this erased area, and Rav himself said it's good. Why isn't he worried about that? And for the Gemara, okay, you know what? If you're going to find an inked-in star that was erased, and you have Adim that signed on it, and a henpick, we're not going to go ahead and go to the henpick. We're going to go directly to the Adim. In that case, we're going to go directly to the Adim. The Melo, there's no concern, because if the Adim are Makayim it, then it took place. Therefore, Rav says, you're not a stira. The area between if it's inked in, there's nothing to worry about. Why are you going to write a new star and have Adim sign? If the Adim are signing illegally, they're going to have to Makayim their star. Again, we're not chayish for Rishayim. On the other hand, if you write, as this guy writes in the Adim, they're going to have to Makayim it. They're going to have to say, it's not my handwriting, or it's my handwriting, I never signed it, you forged me, so in other words, you'll find out. So since you'll find out, it's okay to go ahead and leave the area as long as it's inked in between the Adim and Ashrata. Conversely, if it's an area that's Machach and the Adim are there, it's kosher. It's kosher. Again, tomorrow we'll discuss that. The goof for the Gemara is going to go into that tomorrow's share. Now, so therefore, that's Rav. So again, in between the Adim and the Shtar, 2 lines puzzle. Between the Adim and Ashrata, get 2 lines. The whole area is mutter. Rabbi Yochanan is the other extreme. Rabbi Yochanan lo shanu that 2 lines puzzle and 1 line's kasha is between the Adim and the Ashrata, right? Afilu shita achas. Excuse me. Lo shanu ela bein Adim l'ksav. When do we say 2 parcels and 1 is okay because you don't learn from Shita Achreina? That's between the Shtar and the Adim. Avol ben Adim Lashrata, but between that area, I feel 1 line. Guys, look at, according to Rav, this whole area would be okay. According to Rabbi Yochanan, even 1 line would not be okay. It's amazing. You're going from one extreme to the next. I feel the shitach anami puzzle. Maishna bein Edom Ashrata. What are you worried about between the Edom and the Ashrata? Dilma Geiza le'iloi. You'll go ahead. You'll cut off the whole top star. Because of who the Edom b'shita achas. Then you'll write in one line. One line. You're going to write the star. I owe $100, and you're going to sign an Edom. Because of star haba who the Edom b'shita achas kasha. So therefore, I got a problem. You, Rabbi Yochanan, is of the opinion that one line is written over here is okay. So Mamela, I can't even leave one line, because if you do, you're going to have the Eidim and the Ashrata going on that. And therefore, it's you can't even leave it, even anything. You can't leave anything. That's according. So you have machloikas from one end of the spectrum to the other. According to Rav, leave over the whole thing. According to Shmuel, according to Rabbi Yochanan, even one line between the Eidim and Ashrata you can leave over. Why don't we concern? You're leaving over one line between you said one line between the Edim and that, right? Let's be chayish, you're going to cut off the whole star. Because of my deboy, you'll write whatever you want. And you'll have Edim over there. He holds that a star, that what comes. The Yochanan is Maida that the Eidim, and one line is good. Eidim and one line is good, right? That's what he's Maida. But he says over here, even one line's no good. Why? Because you're going to go ahead and write a whole star and have Eidim signed here. So Fred the Gemara Kasha like this. You have over here an open line. You have over here two Eidim that's signed. Cut off the whole star. Let's start at the beginning of the book. You cut off the whole star. I have one line. What's going to say on this line? I owe $1,000 to Hedgie. And then you're going to sign the names of the Eidim. In addition, you'll have other Eidim over here. So why is it kosher? Why am I not concerned? If you, Rabbi Yochanan, are of the opinion that one line below is a problem because of forgery, one line above also should be a problem with a forgery. It could be missing the whole get, the whole star. The Eidim that signed on this star apparently are signing on this, included with the Eidim on that line. Why are we concerned about that? It should be therefore puzzle even that one line above the Eidim. Good? That's the Gemara's kash. So Fred the Gemara. According to Rabbi Yochanan, you tells me that Eidim on one line with the star is good. Ihachi between Eidim the Kasav Nami, between Eidim and the Kasav itself. Why are we concerned? That you said is kasha. Why are we concerned? He'll cut off the whole star. Because of my boy and the remaining line that was left open, he'll write whatever he wants. The Chasim Isadeh, and he'll have Eidim sign on that line, and you'll have a bunch of Eidim, right? You'll have Eidim on that line and Eidim below that line. So Kasava Shtar Haba Hu B'Shita Achas Eidim B'Shita Acheres Puzzle. You have a star that's written Hu on one line and Eidim on the other line, and it's puzzle. Okay, I think the kasha was I said it. I went ahead. I think we just should say simply, you went ahead. You cut off the rest of the star. You wrote whatever you want, and now you wrote whatever you want, and now you have Eidim. You know, he didn't sign an 8 on this line. He didn't sign an 8 on that line yet. It says he'll write the star Eidim and Shita Achas, and now you're going to have Eidim below also. And all the rabbis paid Davidi. I did it. I want to go ahead and maximize the coil, so I went ahead and I have more. I signed more Eidim. Says if you can have a star that has one line with Eidim on that line and Eidim another Eidim below, you're not going to be kind between the lower Eidim, element of Eidim Shalamayla, the Eidim above, and therefore, if it's a forgery, they'll go ahead and tell you that line that you're discussing that you signed on, in fact, what is not Makoyim. Have a great Shabbos.